afternoon, guys. Laura here from Hedgehog's Homestead. I thought I'd give you guys a quick garden tour. Things are kind of winding down, some things, and then other things are winding up, because that's what happens when you succession sow your garden or get your garden prepared for fall. One of the things that I put in late was I put in some beans, and I put in some pumpkin, which I have one pumpkin, and some watermelon. Some of those things took, not all of them. And I started some late tomatoes. I'll show you what I have to tie up and what I have to deal with, and things that are still growing that haven't given up yet, and wonderful things out in the garden. So let's get to it. First, we have our little planters here on the deck, and some things are doing good in them. Other things are not doing so great, and I'll show you what those are. So you can see here, this is beans, and they are starting to come in. Not as many as I thought. They're pretty old seeds. I still have some lettuce in there trying to come in. Some cilantro trying to come in with these beans, and that's fine. But not all the beans came in, so maybe I'll go ahead and plant some lettuce since we're going on a diet. And this is doing great. This is our green onion, growing some green onion here. And then our cucumber is kind of dying off, and you can see it tried to grow us some little cucumbers here, but just wasn't very successful. We got one bean that sprouted there, so we might go ahead and put in all these areas where beans didn't sprout, since it's getting kind of in the late of the year for that. We can go ahead and put in some lettuce, which will be just fine as it gets a little bit cool. And I think we'll have some time if we grow some lettuce that grows rather quickly. Our beans, this is our sweet potato patch, and I have had so many problems with pests, with army worms on this, and we've also had some hornworms, but more army worms than hornworms. And you can see they've just done some terrible damage, even though I put some stuff that's supposed to help with them. I'll show you what that is. Oh, and look, there's one right there. So, oh, can I get him? There he is. The best pest control for those are just giving them a little squeeze. But yeah, that's what we're dealing with in here. And I'm not too worried about it, because as you can see, there's little mounds in here, and these are starting to die off anyways. So they are about to be ready. So we're gonna go ahead and pull those soon. These are our volunteer tomato plants. I found a hornworm on that one over there, which I need to tie up a little better. It's giving me some nice tomatoes now, which we really like this variety. I don't know what variety it is, because it's a volunteer, and look, we had it bend down on us, so we're gonna have to tie those up. And this one, I've been, it's so plagued with army worms that I'll show you what's happening to these tomatoes on here. Even though I have put tons of pest control stuff on it, that is what's happening with our tomatoes on this. So whenever I find one that's green and is a good size and that hasn't turned out like this, I grab them, bring them in the house, and put them in either a paper bag or a paper box, and I put them in a dark, cool place, and they will ripen in the house for us. So not all is lost. I'm gonna beat those worms, I tell ya. Here you can see, as I pan slowly, which I need to do some pruning on and get rid of the dead leaves, we have loofah gourd plant growing all around us. This is 3 plants, one in this thing here in the middle, and then there, that one's the smallest one. That one's the biggest one, and they're all growing. And this one is the furthest away, and we keep on bringing them back over to this side. They keep on kind of trying to go over to the other side, and you can see there, let's see if you can see right there, is you can see how it's a little thicker on that end. That is what they look like when they start to come in. I'll show you one that's pollinated. Let me see if I can find one for you guys. Hopefully they won't get... I've had ants all over these guys. Oh, here's one that's pollinated there. You can see it. It's about... that's as big as my hand is. And it's coming in nicely. Hopefully we can get them in time before the first frost, because the loofah plant will not survive a frost, unfortunately. So if we can get our loofah gourds in, which I'm told when they get to this state, they grow rather quickly and do their thing rather quickly. So crossing my fingers real tight, and hopefully they'll get it done for us. I love loofahs, and I love the idea of growing loofahs. And so we are starting to get them all over the place. You can see the flowers. They're closing up for the night. I just cut this sunflower off. You saw that in the beginning of the video. So we cut it off, and we have that drying inside. We have this head that will be drying inside pretty quickly. And of course the loofah is climbing up the sunflowers, and you can see them there. They were reaching for the sky earlier. I just gave all of this a feed, of just a general feed for everything. That sunflower is going to be cut down soon, but I think I will leave it up there as long as the loofah is climbing it. Our tomatoes are still going, so we just keep on picking from it. And in the evening, they are absolutely delicious. Especially because I didn't water today. So, even though they're small like that, I'm still picking them for making sauces and things. Just because they're small, it doesn't mean that you can't pick them for that. So, as you look in here, you can just see they're everywhere in this beautiful tomato bush I have here. And absolutely delicious. I'm still getting jalapenos. There's one that's yellow. Still getting jalapenos over here. That's a lemon jalapeno. I just took in a bunch of bell peppers, and it looks like this bell pepper plant is starting to die off, but this one's got a nice little funny looking one on it. We'll see what happens with that. They sometimes come on that way. Some of these have died from pests, but we're still getting little peppers on, guys. As you can see there. Peppers all over this little guy here. So as long as they're producing, even though they look like they're dying off, I say let them go. Let them go as long as we can. So, especially when you don't have a big garden, you'll see other people ripping them out. And if they have a big garden, they've produced a lot in a little bit of time. But if you have a smaller garden and you're producing a little bit at a time, let your garden season milk it out as long as you can. This is the watermelon that I picked, and there's some baby watermelons on there. I don't know if we'll have time. It takes quite a long time for them to come together, but we'll see what happens with that. Got a pumpkin over there, and we got a funny looking cucumber here, but I'm getting a lot of cucumbers. Got a carrot right there, which these aren't very fruitful. So we'll just leave the other one in the ground until it does its thing and see if we get anything from it. Astro, you want carrot, buddy? Yeah? You want that? You want that carrot? So, a lot of dead vines in here. I need to weed in here, but I haven't weeded around here because of what's going on here. I got, you know, this vine coming out here, and I've got a couple little heads on there. As you can see right there, there's a head of something, and then over there as well, there's another head of something. We don't know. They probably won't make it, but we never give up. We never give up around here at Hedgehog's Homestead. Got another cucumber plant over here, and it's doing its business. I just fed it a little something, but it's mixing in with this loofah, so I can't tell what's loofah. I mean, it's easier to tell. This is cucumber leaf. It's a little more rounder than our loofah leaf there, but when it runs all into each other, it's really hard to figure out which is going which way. So we've gotten a lot of cucumbers. I need to make cucumber salad. My fridge is literally full of cucumbers. It's crazy. So I'm not worried about it. But as you can see on top of all our loofah plants up there, you can see all these bud heads coming up, and hopefully it will get it done, and get it done quickly. But then we also have a pest eating some stuff here, which is really super annoying. And story of my life this year. I'm learning about the pests in Tennessee. So, and we have this, I don't know, you guys can tell me what this is. It's a weed of some kind, but it attracts the bugs really nice. And so the bugs, the pollinators, so I'm letting it flower and be here, and it's just kind of pretty. So I'm letting it do its thing. Don't get rid of something just because it's supposed to be if it's attracting pollinators, you should keep it, right? So this is what's going on in the front yard. Our basil is starting to die off, and I'll take that basil out of there, and we'll probably put some lettuce in there in its place, because it might die back for the winter, and we can put some lettuce there to grow on top of it, and then the lettuce will die in the winter sometime too, and then we'll just go ahead and let the basil grow back. The basil should come back in the spring, so that's fun about that. So I just thought I'd show you guys something funny. This here turned over on its side during a windstorm, or storm that threw our garbage can across the thing, and we had this coleus in here, and the coleus broke off. You can see here where it broke, and it's coming back. So if your coleus ever breaks off in a storm or something like that, be patient, keep on watering it. I had other things in here to feed and water, so I went ahead and did that, and the coleus came back too. Not so much over here, but this stuff sure did its thing, and hopefully that will stay. Maybe I can bring that in the house for the winter. It's so beautiful. It just keeps on growing. So make a good house plant. But that's what's going on in my garden. So I hope you guys aren't giving up on your garden so far. I know that in Oregon, I would be cutting things down by now. The tomato plants would be getting close to going in the garbage. Usually in September, the end of September, I've got those cut back, and I'm taking in all the tomatoes. And that's how I learned, because we have such a small growing season for tomatoes in Oregon, that's how I learned to put in green tomatoes in buckets and paper bags and things, that because we had so many green tomatoes at the end of the year, and we could do things with those green tomatoes and let them ripen in the house. So I'm excited about that. Hopefully this loofah will do something for me and we get some nice loofah. Cross our fingers and pray. and hopefully that's all good. The bugs have been so bad this year, and everybody's had the same thing. So I know you guys know what I'm dealing with. Army worms have just been off the chain. I thought I was done with bugs for the year and was looking forward to fall coming in because it seemed like the bugs were all dying back, and here comes these army worms and hornworms, and I was like, holy cow. I had never had a problem with army worms or hornworms in Oregon at all, but here in Tennessee, yay, new learning experiences and opportunities. So thank you guys for coming along, and I hope you find some joy in my garden, and I look forward to finding joy in your garden. You guys have a great day. Follow the dream maker, and he'll let your dreams come true, and I'll follow him too. God bless and have a great day. See you guys next time. Bye.